morning. Thank you for joining us this morning for the launch of the Sheffield Culture Collective strategy. I am delighted that you've taken time out to attend today, and I offer a huge welcome to you all. For those who do not know me, I am Julie Kenny, Chair of the Collective and also Chair of the Wentworth Woodhouse Preservation Trust in Rotherham. The last time I spoke to an assembled audience about the Sheffield Culture Collective, the world was a very different place back in September 19. I stood in front of 200 people packed together in the Millennium Galleries in Sheffield City Centre to talk about what the collective was setting out to achieve. My message was simple. We must give everyone in Sheffield, individuals and organisations, the best possible chance to allow culture to grow and thrive, which in turn will help care for our well-being and allow us to grow as individuals. Little did we think what was just around the corner and that life was about to get so much more harder for so many in our communities. Little did we know that instead of being in a room with you all this morning, I would be talking to a computer screen because of the global pandemic. The impact of what is happening is not lost on any of us. There is so much we need to do. Despite being online, I hope you will sense the energy, passion, and enthusiasm that we must continue to have to put culture at the heart of Sheffield's future strategic development. Today, after 18 months of remote working, discussion and debate, we are delighted to be launching the Sheffield Culture Collective strategy. Over the next few minutes, I want to share with you what has inspired this strategy. And for those of you fearing a PowerPoint presentation of the strategy and the details, worry not. All I encourage you to do is to download and read the strategy that is being released this morning. It is a short and punchy document designed to grab attention. For now, let me share with you what has inspired us over the last year and the resolve we have to ensure every individual and community in the city can thrive through culture and creativity. This morning, the Sheffield Culture Collective is saying loudly and clearly, we must put culture at the centre of efforts to build back better following the pandemic. So many lives have been turned upside down by COVID-19. Communities have been left reeling by the impact of the worst economic downturn in 300 years. The culture sector has felt this more than most. As the vaccination programme is rolled out, our focus must be on building back a more productive and equitable economy that heals the scars left by the pandemic. Sheffield Culture Collective has focused on how to shape that recovery. Our strategy for Sheffield sets out a bold vision and ambition action plan to ensure every individual and community in the city can thrive through culture and creativity. Creative activity shapes where we live, brings people together, and empowers communities to address the challenges they face. We need to address the assumption that culture is for the few, not the many. Culture is not just about arts and performers. Culture is about how we all live. Culture improves our quality of life, well-being and sense of place. Culture drives our economy. When the collective was formed back in 2019, we knew Sheffield had fallen behind other UK cities, which benefit from higher levels of investment in arts and culture. For every person in Sheffield, the city received £9.50 in funding for culture. That compares to £48 in Manchester and £34 in Leeds. These cities receive more than 3 and 4 times higher levels of funding than in Sheffield. This reality is what has underpinned our work and the production of that strategy. We need to reverse that trend. Funding for culture needs to be levelled up in Sheffield. That levelling up begun during the pandemic and through the work and relationships shaped through the Sheffield Culture Collective. These relationships forged through the work of the collective into the city's formally adopted business recovery plan, which now has culture as one of the Sheffield's 6 priorities for post-COVID investment. During the lockdown, members of the collective also worked together to launch a fund for freelance arts and culture workers. Thanks go to the University of Sheffield for funding, and the Sheffield Hallam University, Museum Sheffield, Sheffield Theatres and Site Gallery. And as a result of that funding, 83 freelance arts and culture workers based in Sheffield are benefiting from cash support to develop their creative and business practice. These are admittedly small steps, but they show what can be achieved when we work together on a collective basis. Today marks a step up and the launch of our full strategy and the start of our action plan. The plan is ambitious, focused, and designed to deliver real impact. It presents our ambitions and plans in years 1 and 2, achievements by years 5 and 10, and will continue to develop as we deliver and learn from our collective working. We are intent on creating the conditions to deliver the first of 4 capital projects that will be the city's cultural crown jewels for decades to come. S1 Art Space at Park Hill, a development funding and implementation plan for a new world-class gallery in the renowned Graves building, a music hub for young people across the city, the Tinsley Art Project, a public art trail inspired by Sheffield's rich cultural heritage. But we must also help local cultural organisations secure national funding. We have too few NPOs in Sheffield. Our job is to help make the case for investment to both the Arts Council and the private sector and to correct that imbalance. We must not stop there. We will and we must keep making the case that culture be at the centre of our recovery from the pandemic. Every cultural organisation in the city, every creative artist, every community group should feel more supported as we build an ever stronger and more vibrant network of cultural activity across Sheffield. No one is excluded and everyone is included. In a moment, I will hand over to my good friend and colleague, Martin McCurvey, the chair of the Sheffield Property Association, who will talk briefly about why a property association is so invested in putting culture and creativity at the heart of our city's development. After that, you will hear from colleagues from the council and the Arts Council. They hear our argument and are working with us to shape what comes next. With this in mind, we are delighted to be joined this morning by Laura Dyer, Deputy Chief Executive of the Arts Council, and Julie Grow-Cutt, Deputy Leader of Sheffield City Council. I will join you again at the end of the session to share with you our immediate next steps and to thank those who have made the work of the collective possible. Until then, I leave you with these 4 words: ambitious, brave, inclusive, decisive. These are the 4 words that define our collective. These are the 4 words that describe the intent to put culture and creativity at the heart of our great city's development. We also have one other word: change makers. That reflects the reality that all of us on this call have the power to drive change. All of us have the power to make a difference. And all of us, by working together, can put culture at the centre of Sheffield's efforts to build back better from the pandemic. Martin will now share with you why that is not just morally right, but also why it is key to driving our economy forward. Thank you.